Good morning and welcome to our June webinar reviewing email and text message best practices. Today, I want to go over best practices for emailing and for text messaging, how to send a test email, varying subject lines and content, reviewing spam phrases, and keeping text messages short. Monitoring sending volumes and monitoring your email and text message reputations. Okay, so let's get started. All right, so as always, I use our demo site to review all of the content we have on the webinars. I will be going over some things on our demo site, Buffalo Credit Solutions. There has been a lot of discussion around text messaging and emailing recently. And as always, best practices are evolving. So it's important to keep up on what the trends are with emailing and what the trends are with text messaging. Down here at the knowledge base and help, you can always reference our articles. This article on email campaign best practicing, we actually keep up to date as often as possible. We're updating this probably once every 2 weeks, if not more, depending on what trends we're seeing and what's going on in the industry. So all the bullet points are keys to making sure that you're practicing what's recommended for emailing, and also to make sure that we're maintaining our email reputation and keeping it the best it can be and ensuring deliverability to those inboxes. All right, so as many of you know, when you send an email, not only do you have your subject line, but you also have your preview of the email, which is available in your mailbox. So it is important to make sure that you are sending yourself a test email and you're previewing how your email looks. So when you're in a actual template, let's see if I pull up my model validation template right here. And you have your template here, you can always go to view and you can preview it, but that's only going to preview your template. That's not actually going to allow you to preview the email itself and how it's going to look in an email box. So I think it's important to make sure that you're sending yourself a test email. For demo purposes, I have a test debtor that I use quite frequently, and I send myself test emails. If you don't have a test account in your system, you can use a live consumer account. Just be very conscious of who you're sending the email to. So if I want to make sure that I send an email, my information's already loaded into my test account, but I want to actually see how this is going to look in my mailbox. So I'm going to send myself this test email. And as you can see, all my replacement fields are populated with the data uploaded to the test account. But I want to see exactly how this is going to preview. Do I like this email subject? Do I like the first line of the preview? Because I have an image up here, it's going to preview with this image line right here. So play around with your templates, play around with your emails by sending yourself a test email. It's very important when you're trying to figure out the best way to reach your consumers and how you can be as effective as possible at making sure that your content is well received in the mailbox. Okay, so preview email, top bullet here. Also, an email is not a letter. So this is very crucial when you're starting out or when you're even adjusting your digital campaigns. You don't want your email to look like a letter. And because we're sending an email here, as you know, in the header of an email, everything is dated. So you wouldn't necessarily need to, like you would on a letter, date it and ensure that you have a date. So again, emails, not letters, they're digital form of communication. Aligning left or center will generally render better in an email than it would similar to a letter. Do not align to the right side unless necessary. It looks, when you align right, it does not fit well, especially for a cell phone view. If you think about it this way, pretty much 85 to 90% of consumers are now doing business solely on their cell phones. When you're creating a template or you're creating an email, a best practice, in addition to sending yourself a test email, is to test that on a cell phone. Do you like the way it loads? Does the consumer have to continually scroll left or right when they're on an actual cell phone? So it's very important also to test the size of your content, and if it's not centered or headered correctly, then that wouldn't be an issue. So again, email is not a letter. You want to make sure it's formatted correctly. Review and refresh your content regularly, such as email subject lines. Spam filters are now cracking down on repeated content being sent over and over. So if you have an email campaign or several email campaigns, for instance, that have the same subject line for multiple content, you're going to want to revise that. Spam filters are, especially for Gmail and Yahoo, are looking at engagement rates with your customers. If you're repeatedly sending the same email subject over and you don't have engagement with those customers, let's say you had a campaign of 1,000 and only 900 or only 50 of them were open, leaving 950 of them not opened, but you're sending the same email subject over and over, that's an issue. 950 people are not engaging with you already on that email subject, and you're sending it again. Gmail and Yahoo are going to recognize that as spam, and then they're going to begin to filter you out into the spam folder, and they're not going to allow you to deliver straight to inboxes. So you want to be very cautious of the subject line content and whether or not you've already sent the same exact content in that subject line and how often you are sending that content in the subject line. Only send to accounts and emails in which you have consent to send. Always consult your compliance department on what the rules are for that. Do not send to work email addresses when it's, if possible, do not send to people at work. Very, very, very good advice. Again, consult your compliance department for what your rules or what your client has set up in regard to that. Use short but direct subject lines. The longer the subject line, the spammier it looks to spam filters, especially Gmail and Yahoo. As we know, Gmail and Yahoo comprise about 95 to 98% of all emails for your consumers. So making sure you adhere to their requirements is crucial to ensure continued deliverability. Have clear links to the payment portal and to the contact us page. So for email templates, yes, you can have your image embedded with the link to your portal. For instance, a click here to pay today image, but also you can have links directly to the portal here. It's important to make sure that the consumer has multiple ways to contact you as well. This is your standard model validation template. If I was to send an email to my customer with a, let's say, a settlement campaign template, they have the ability to click here to call me. They have the ability to click here to email me. These clickable call links, if clicked on a cell phone, will automatically load the phone in to be called to the cell phone. The click here to pay today will also take them directly to the portal. New account registration will take them directly to log in to create an account and log into the portal. So having clear and identifiable links to your agency and your portal, very important when sending an email campaign, especially for brand recognition. Always include your unsubscribe option in any mass email campaign. Going forward, if you do not have an unsubscribe option, you will be blocked by your email service providers. That is crucial and absolutely has to be in every email, especially when mass emailing. Do not use uppercase words unless absolutely needed. Any type of capitalization or uppercase word in the email subject will automatically filter into spam by the email service providers at this point. They do not like uppercase in any way, shape, or form. We do in our templates have formatted. So if I pull up my model validation template for you to show you, we have first name formatted. If you go to your replacement fields, we actually format the client name, the first name, the full name, the last name, and the original creditor. This will capitalize the first letter of the name, and then the rest of the um, field will be lowercase to avoid capitals. If you don't use formatted and you do original creditor this way, then that will be all in capitals. So be conscientious of that, especially with email subject lines. You do not want to have a all capitals in an email subject line. Um, Start your campaign small. I cannot stress this enough when you're getting into mass emailing is and mass text messaging for that matter is to start small and stair step your way up. Once you are introducing yourself to bulk emailing and text messaging, you have to allow the email service providers as well as the phone carriers to get used to you and to get used to the volumes that you're sending. We recommend starting small. We also recommend sending frequently, especially when it comes to emailing. If you send a campaign of 500 on a Monday for emailing, wait 3 weeks and then send a campaign of 2,000, that's inconsistent to the email service providers. That doesn't look like a strategy that would be recognizable or would be well received by email service providers. So we have specific, again, in your knowledge base, we have specific articles dedicated to guide you through warm up and recommendations, especially for text messaging. It is crucial. If you were to launch a campaign of 50 one day and then a campaign of 5,000 the next day, the cell phone carriers are going to be very sensitive to that, because your spam rate would jump through the roof if consumers aren't used to hearing from you. And if spam rates get too high, it is possible for the carriers um, to recommend shutting you down. We want to avoid that at all costs. We also want to avoid with emailing a sudden increase in bulk email sending, and then all of a sudden your deliverability and your reputation um, starts to go down because you're landing in spam filters and folders, and you're no longer making it to the inbox, and you're not getting that engagement with consumers that you need. So starting small and stair stepping your way up, very, very crucial. Consider the time of day and time of week that you're sending. There are many customers who have more success sending at the beginning and the end of the week, and then sending maintenance campaigns during the week. Again, that's going to be completely dependent on your business and your customers and how whatever internal strategies that you run. But it is good to vary the time of day and the time of week that you are sending. If you are sending campaigns every day at 2 p.m., consumers might begin to, move you to spam, and then you would hit spam trigger filters, and you don't want to do that. Make it appealing. Make your templates appealing. Use colors, use images to make your emails easy to read and friendly looking. These emails that have buttons that say, click here to pay today, make it very easy for the consumer to navigate and also to be able to, recognize I can click here to make a payment. Use attachments only when absolutely necessary. Review all your data before sending. I cannot stress enough. Send yourself a test email. Test all of your links when you're creating a template. Make sure that it looks good for you, and then it would look good for your consumers. You can also use an email testing site to ensure proper authentication and check for spam content. Running a test email, we do this in original upon site setup, but you can always continue to send test emails to yourself going forward. We have Kickbox, ScanMy.email, and Mail Tester. It will also test your templates or test your email for spam looking content and provide you feedback on that actual email and let you know what looks like spam and what could be fixed. Inform your agents to direct consumers to the portal 24/7 for account information, making payments, and viewing account history. Incorporate that into your talk off that we do communicate via email, and that we have an online portal available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week if you're using our online portal as well. Ensure that the subject line accurately reflects the content of the email to maintain trust with your recipients. Strong call to action helps to increase consumer engagement. You never want to be deceptive with an email subject that doesn't pertain to the content inside. If you're offering a settlement, let them know that there's a settlement is available on your account. So what's included in the body of the email should also be reflected in the subject of the email as well. Keep your subject lines concise, excuse me. Email service providers, again, when you have a very long subject line that's very wordy, they have a tendency to filter those out. Ideally, under 60 characters is tests very well with email service providers. They don't want anything beyond 100 characters. So when you're creating an email subject, try to keep it between 60 and 100 characters. Consider also removing email addresses that do not engage with your campaigns. How often are you reviewing your email campaign statistics? Are you looking at people who open your emails, and are you continually engaging with them? It is very important to maintain your email reputation to continue engaging with consumers who are engaging with you as well. Follow-up campaigns to people who are opening your email are very positive on your email reputation, and also can have a positive impact on maintaining your sender reputation with Gmail and Yahoo. If you have questions about that, please do not hesitate to email customer success at conceptstocode.com. That's a whole entire separate meeting where we can review your email campaigns and go over how to extract that data. Create templates specifically around generating engagement. For example, payment confirmation receipts. Consumers are waiting for a payment confirmation receipt. They're more apt to open it as they recognize the brand. They recognize your name. Payment reminders, paid in full letters. Ask the consumer to review the paid in full letter or the payment reminder while they're on the phone with you. This is guaranteed engagement with the customer. If they open it multiple times, again, the email service providers recognize that that is content that's wanted. Web links in the message body should be visible and easy to understand. Recipients should know what to expect when they click a link. Click here to pay today should take them right to the portal. It should never direct them anywhere else. If you link to the contact us page or the contact us form, it should take the consumer right there. For example, in here, we have a link right to the CFPB. You want to make sure that that's easily recognizable for the customer. You don't want to take them to a link that they don't want to be in. Avoid excessively long headers in your email messages. Google offers articles on this. You can click on this article to read. Long headers in your email messages can sometimes get blocked for spam. Keep the content of your emails clear and concise. Do not mix different types of content within one email. If you're sending a settlement offer, send a settlement offer. If you're sending a payment plan offer, send a payment plan offer. Keep the content of your email directly related to the subject of the email. If you include multiple other pieces of content in there, it can also cause consumers to mark you as spam or the email service providers to recognize you as spam. Avoid using common spam phrases when configuring email campaigns or creating subject lines. We have 2 articles here that include over 185 and up to 300, I believe the count is now, commonly used spam phrases or spam trigger words. The word itself in, let's say, money or account is not going to trigger a spam filter by itself, but when used as a spam phrase, then it can, and they have example phrases in here on both articles, they can trigger spam filters. So be conscientious when you're creating a subject of what could possibly trigger spam filters. And as always, no capital letters, because those will for sure trigger spam filters. For text messaging, we also do have articles on text messaging best practices. Keep in mind, cell phone carriers debt collection is still not a favorite industry among the cell phone carriers. So just like I was referencing that warm up, it's incredibly crucial with text messaging best practices. Text messaging is a very effective way to reach your consumers. If you start your campaign small, you can work up to bigger campaigns. Recommendation of starting small is sending out NSF text messages. On average, most agencies have between 25 to 75 NSFs per day, depending on the size of your business. That is a perfect beginning campaign to launch. If you're just starting in the text messaging field, that is a perfect sized campaign to send. Your engagement with consumers who already they recognize your name, they'll recognize the company name within the text messaging, within the text message template. Callback reminders are also great if you have someone with a scheduled callback. Sending out a payment reminder as well. You have a payment that will process today. Those are very good for smaller engagement campaigns and will help you work up to bigger campaigns. Keep messages short. Texts are broken up into 160 characters, whether you see it or not. What's nice is that in the text message templates within the system, we keep a running count of the characters. So once that opens up, I can show you. Here we go. The character count is up here. And again, we warn you, text over 160 characters can be broken up into multiple text messages. If you are sending 200 characters within a text and it gets broken up, your consumer is going to receive 2 text messages, which they could view as spam or, unwanted 2 text messages instead of 1 text message. So be very conscientious of your character count. You can play around with it. Obviously, because that's a field, if their name is Joe, that would only be 3 characters. But again, send yourself a sample text message from a test account so that you know how it appears on your cell phone. Always recommend sending test emails and test text messages. Be concise without sacrificing clarity. Include a clear message about what the customer needs to do. If you want them to pay, direct them to the link to pay right away, especially with an NSF campaign. If you're sending a text message, Joe, your recent payment declined. Please log into your account to recover your payment today. Avoid sending the exact same campaigns repeatedly. Make changes to your campaigns that are not working well. Same with emails is the same for text message. Email service providers and the phone carriers are sensitive to repeated content that does not have engagement or repeated content that is generating spam complaints. So send different types of text messages. If you have a consumer that consistently bounces a check and you're sending a consistent NSF text message, maybe you want to just only email them as opposed to text messaging them. But if they're consistently bouncing, that's a bigger problem. Do not continue to send text to people who are not responding. Again, review your lists. We can go over that. If you email customer success, we can always set up a meeting for that. Watch your send frequency. Optimal frequency for most text campaigns is 1 week. So if you're sending out large volume text messages to consumers that are new or that you haven't contacted before, once a week is good to start sending to them. Monitor your volume. Again, warm up period, so crucial. Okay. Send a text on the consumer's payment date, a successful strategy. Informative updates, if there's an update to their account, very successful strategy. One other thing that I want to go over is monitoring your email reputation. Down here in your portal under email reports is your email reputation. As you can see, again, demo site do not have a lot of data available, but for anybody who has been bulk emailing or has been emailing in, large quantity, it's crucial to come here and monitor your email reputation. Again, if you ever have questions about your email reputation or you see that you may not be hitting as many inboxes or getting as much engagement, please, I encourage you to reach out to customer success at concepts2code.com. But what you can see here is the last 24 hours, the last 7 days, and the last 30 days of activity, which gives you an overall total of how many you queued up, how many were sent, suppressed. And then you can see here what your open rates are, if you have any bounces, if you have complaints. So if a consumer marks you as spam and it gets moved to the spam folder, generally speaking, the email service providers will send a complaint down the line and let us know that there is a complaint. Unfortunately, Gmail is very proprietary over their information, so there's no way for us to know if the consumer um, on Gmail has issued a complaint or marked you as spam. That's why it's very important to review your open lists and then begin to filter out people who you've sent, say, 3, 4, 5 emails to with zero engagement, including no opens on Gmail, and maybe give them a cool down period for 30 days so that you're not generating any type of additional complaints or doing any damage to your Google reputation. All things we can schedule meetings for to go over at customer success. You can also look at your clicks, and then you will get this data for 24 hours, 7 days, and 30 days. Text messaging, it's important to also monitor your recent messages as well. When you click into your recent messages or your texting opt-outs, you can see the engagement and what you have going back and forth with consumers. The status is received when they email you back, or I'm sorry, when they text message you back. But reviewing your recent messages will let you know if a customer is not, if they're not responding with stop, if they're responding with something else that they indicating that they want you to stop, then you can then take that number out of texting and move forward. Also important to review your recent messages because consumers will text message you back and ask questions about their accounts or specific account details. You can then contact them via telephone, or if your compliance department allows you to engage in a text message conversation back and forth with them. But as the email service providers crack down a little bit on emailing and spam, as we know, Gmail and Yahoo instituted new authentication requirements with all of their emails as of January. And as of June of this year, all emails have to be 100% authenticated with the DMARC, DKIM, and SPF, which prevents spoofing and also ensures the correct signature from your domain. Well, the good news is that all emails are authenticated properly. So making sure your authentication is proper is crucial. Making sure you have unsubscribes in all of your emails going out is crucial. Um, Reviewing the email campaign best practices and text messaging best practices is always going to be helpful. As the text carriers get a little bit more sensitive to the content and the volumes that are going out, always going to be crucial to send those. I call them maintenance campaigns, maintenance keeping your text message number nice and healthy, and maintenance email campaigns keeping your email reputation healthy. Those NSFs that go out, those smaller campaigns or smaller emailing or text messaging, payment reminders, paid in full letters. I cannot tell you how crucial it is to send a paid in full letter via email. Those are almost always guaranteed and open from a consumer, which again, those opens keep your email reputation nice and healthy. We're just about at time, so I want to thank everybody for joining. I want to thank you for joining us for the email best practices and text messages. And again, if you have questions, email customer success at conceptstocode.com. Thank you so much and have a great day.